Okay, moving right along to chapter 8, which is the basics of electricity. We will be beginning on page 206 under understanding electricity. Electricity is not matter because it does not occupy space or have mass. In fact, electricity can move through or across matter and space. Electricity is a form of energy that produces physical, magnetic, chemical, or thermal effects when in motion. This energy is created by the flow of electrons between atoms. An electric current is the flow of electricity along a conductor. All substances can be classified as conductors or insulators, depending on the ease with which an electric current can be transmitted through them. A conductor is any substance, material, or medium that conducts electricity. Most metals, carbon, the human body, and watery solutions of acids and salts are good conductors of electricity. An insulator or non-conductor is a substance that does not easily transmit electricity. Rubber, silk, dry wood, glass, and cement are good insulators. An electric wire is composed of fine twisted metal threads, the conductor, covered with silk, plastic, or rubber coating. A complete electric circuit is the path of an electric current from the generating source through conduction and back to its original source. Figure 8.1 illustrates the path of a complete direct current circuit. So y'all can look at that and see kind of what it's talking about. Okay, now types of electric current. Direct current is a constant, even flowing current that travels in one direction only and produces a chemical reaction. Battery operated instruments such as flashlights, cell phones, and cordless tools use DC, as does a car battery. Alternating current is a rapid and interrupted current. Huh?
Jeff was concerned because I coughed and cleared my throat, he had a kid.
Yeah, okay, yeah, make sure you don't have corona.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Okay, all right. The alternating current is a rapid and interrupted current, flowing first in one direction and then in the opposite direction, that produces a mechanical action. Electric clippers, hair dryers, and other tools and appliances that plug directly into a wall outlet use AC. Did y'all know that? A converter is an apparatus that changes DC to AC. A rectifier is an apparatus found within a power supply or adapter that converts AC to DC. Rechargeable cordless clippers and battery chargers use a rectifier to convert the AC from an electric wall outlet to the DC needed to recharge the batteries. A rheostat is an adjustable resistor that is used for controlling the current in a circuit. Many devices such as light dimmers use a rheostat. Table 8.1 outlines the differences between DC and AC. Electrical measurements. An electrical current flows through a wire in the same way that water flows through a hose. However, without pressure, neither electricity nor water would flow. The volt is the unit that measures electrical pressure, which pushes the flow of electrons toward a conductor. Similar to the way water pressure pushes water molecules through a hose, tools and equipment that depend on electricity to function require different voltages. For example, clippers and blow dryers require the 120 volts in normal wall sockets, while air conditioners and clothes dryers may require 240 volts. A higher voltage indicates more pressure, more force, and more power. The lower voltage, the weaker the current. The amp is the standard unit for measuring the strength or rate of an electric current in a conductor. Just as a water hose must be able to expand as the amount of water flowing through it increases, so an electric wire must expand with the increase in number of electrons. A cord must be heavy duty enough to handle the amps put out by the appliance. For example, a hair dryer rated at 10 amps requires a cord that is twice as thick as one rated at 5 amps. If the current or number of amps is too strong, the cord can overheat and cause a fire. If the current is not strong enough, the appliance will not operate correctly. I gotta pull this up to my eyes. A milliampere, yeah, I'm getting old. Yeah, I can't see this stuff as good as I used to. Is 1,000th of an ampere. The current for facial and scalp treatments is measured in milliamperes, and as an ampere current would be much too strong. The ohm is the unit of electrical resistance in an electric current. Unless the force is stronger than the resistance, the current will not flow through the wire. The watt is the unit of power and indicates how much electric energy is being used in 1 second. A 40-watt bulb, for example, uses 40 watts of energy per second. A kilowatt is 1,000 watts. The electricity in a house is measured in kilowatt hours. Did y'all know that? That's where it was measured. Okay, practice electrical equipment safety. When working with electricity, you must always be concerned with your own safety as well as the safety of your clients. All electrical equipment should be inspected regularly to determine whether it is safe working order. Careless electrical connections or overloaded circuits can result in electrical shock, a burn, or even a fire. Safety devices can help prevent serious electrical accidents from happening. You should become familiar with these devices and know where they are located in the shop in the event of an emergency or power outage. A fuse is a safety device that prevents the overheating of electrical wires by preventing excessive current from passing through a circuit. The fuse blows or melts when the wire becomes too hot, which happens when the circuit is overloaded with too much current from too many appliances, or if faulty equipment is used. To re-establish the circuit, the appliance must be unplugged and disconnected and a new fuse inserted in the fuse box. Fuse boxes are often found in older buildings that have not been renovated or modernized. A circuit breaker is a switch that automatically interrupts or shuts off electric circuit at the first indication of an overload. When wires become too hot because of the overloading due to a faulty piece of equipment, the breaker will click off and break the circuit. This action prevents the electric wires in the outlet from overheating and causing a fire. In modern electric circuit breakers have replaced fuses and can be reset. If an electric appliance malfunctions while in operation, disconnect the appliance from the wall socket immediately and check all connections and installations before resetting. Everybody doesn't have to go and switch their circuit breaker back on. Grounding. The principle of grounding is another important way of promoting electrical safety. All electrical appliances must have at least 2 electrical connections. One of these connections is neutral and the other is live or hot. When an appliance is plugged into an outlet, it completes the circuit from the live connection to the neutral connection, producing electricity to operate the appliance. The different sizes of prongs in modern electrical plugs guarantee that the plugs can only be inserted one way. This feature provides protection from electrical shock in the event of short circuit. Some appliance plugs have a third circular connection called a grounding pin that guarantees a safe path to ground for electricity in the event of a short circuit or faulty wiring. This feature provides the most protection for you and your clients. When the power supply of the appliance is encased in metal, both 2-prong and 3-prong plugs are grounded at the circuit breaker. Ground fault interrupter is an outlet that senses imbalances within an electric circuit. When it pops off open, it means that it has sensed a ground fault or current leaking to ground. These devices have surge protectors and must be installed properly to operate as intended. Otherwise, although the outlet may work, the protection function will be lost. GFIs are required on all outlets located near or around sinks and water sources in the barbershop. Guidelines for safe use of electrical equipment. And y'all know what I'm talking about when it says GFIs, right here, this picture in figure 587. That's what, yeah, if you're anywhere around water, you have to have those.
They're mostly in the bathroom.
Yeah, and in bathrooms, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, anywhere where there's water, sinks or something like that, if it's close, yeah. Okay, guidelines for safe use of electrical equipment. Your safety and the safety of your client should be a primary concern. When you are working with electricity, all electrical equipment should be inspected regularly to determine whether it is in safe working order. Careful attention to electrical safety helps to eliminate accidental shocks, fires, and burns. A review of the following reminders will help ensure the safe use of electricity in a barbershop. Check that all electrical appliances you use are UL certified. Study the instructions before any electrical equipment, for using any electrical equipment. Disconnect appliances when not in use. Keep all wires, plugs, and equipment in good repair. Inspect all electrical equipment frequently. Do not overload outlets and power strips. Avoid getting electrical cords wet. When using electrical equipment, protect the client at all times. Do not touch any metal while using an electrical appliance. Do not handle electrical equipment with wet hands. Do not allow the client to touch any metal surface being treated with electrical equipment. Do not leave the room while a client is connected to an electrical device. Do not attempt to clean around the electrical outlet while equipment is plugged in. Do not touch two metallic objects at the same time if either one is connected to an electrical current. Do not step on or set objects on electrical cords. Do not allow electrical cords to become twisted or bent. The fine wires inside the cord will break and the insulation will wear away from the wires. Disconnect appliances by pulling at the plug, not the cord. Do not attempt to repair electrical appliances. Send the item to the manufacturer or authorized repair dealer to resolve the problem and to maintain your warranty. Understanding terminology associated with electrical therapy. I'm thinking we're going to get through this chapter. Yes, we're going to. Electronic facial and scalp treatments are commonly referred to as electrotherapy. Different types of electric currents are used for facial and scalp treatments. These different types of currents are called modalities. Each modality produces a different effect on the skin. An electrode is an applicator used to direct the electric current from the machine to the client's skin. It is usually made of carbon, glass, or metal. Each modality requires two electrodes, one positive and one negative, to conduct the flow of electricity through the body. The only exception to this rule is the Tesla high-frequency current, which is discussed later in this chapter. Polarity, it indicates the negative or positive pole of an electric current. The electrodes on many electrotherapy devices have one negatively charged pole and one positively charged pole. The positive pole is called the anode and is usually red, and it may be marked with a P or plus sign. The negative electrode is called the cathode and is usually black and marked with an N or a minus sign. If the electrodes are not marked, contact the manufacturer for more information. Explain modalities. Modalities refer to the different types of currents used in electrotherapy treatment. While there are many modalities used in the medical field, this chapter discusses only those modalities that a licensed barber might need. Depending on the rules and regulations in your state, these modalities may be galvanic current, microcurrent, and Tesla high frequency current. Galvanic current is a DC using a negative and positive pole that is reduced to a safe low voltage level. Galvanic current produces chemical changes when passed through the body, tissues, and fluids, and is used to create chemical and ionic reactions in the skin. These reactions depend on the negative or positive polarity of the active electrode that is used in the area being treated. Table 8.2 shows the effects produced by the positive pole are the exact opposite of those produced by the negative pole. Let me see. Let me pull this one up again. Discrustation is used to facilitate deep pore cleansing. During the process, galvanic current is used to create a chemical reaction that acts to emulsify the sebum and waste in the pores. Iontophoresis, there we go. Meaning introduction of ions is the process of introducing water-soluble products into the skin. Both the positive and negative poles of the galvanic machine are used in this process. Ionic penetration takes place in two ways. Cataphoresis includes acid substances into the deeper tissues using the galvanic current from the positive pole towards the negative pole. Anaphoresis includes alkaline products into the tissue from the negative toward the positive pole. Microcurrent is an extremely low level of electricity that mirrors the body's natural electrical impulses. Depending on the machine, one or two probes will be used, although some newer devices have both the negative and positive polarities on one probe. Through the probes, the microcurrent is directed only to the specific area being treated and does not travel throughout the entire body. Microcurrent can be used for iontophoresis, firming, toning, and soothing of the skin, and can help to heal inflamed tissue. Microcurrents can produce the following effects: improve blood and lymph circulation, produce acetic and alkaline reactions, open and close hair follicles and pores, increase muscle tone, restore elasticity, reduce redness and inflammation, minimize healing time for acne lesions, improve the natural protective barrier of the skin, increase metabolism, produce a firmer, more hydrated appearance to aging skin. Tesla high frequency current is characterized by a high rate of oscillation that produces heat. It is commonly called the violet ray and is used for both scalp and facial treatments. Tesla current does not cause muscular contractions. Its effects are either stimulating or soothing depending on the method of application. The electrodes are made of glass or metal and only one electrode is used to perform a service. The shapes of the electrodes vary depending on the service. The facial electrode is a flat and scalp electrode is rake shaped. As the current passes through the glass electrode, tiny violet sparks are emitted. All treatments given with high frequency current should be started with mild current and gradually increased and to the required strength. Approximately 5 minutes should be allowed for general facial or scalp treatment, depending upon the condition being treated. As with other tools and implements, follow the manufacturer's direction. Tesla high frequency currents may yield the following benefits: stimulate blood circulation, improve glandular activity, increase metabolism, increase absorption of nutrients and elimination of waste, improve germicidal action, relieve skin congestion. Okay, now, going on, explain light energy and light therapy. Electromagnetic spectrum, also known as electromagnetic spectrum of radiation, refers to all of the forms of energy or radiation that exist. These forms of energy are as follows: radio waves forced by, I missed that. Hold on. Radio waves used by radios and television, microwaves used in microwave ovens, light waves, infrared, visible, and ultraviolet light for light therapy services, X-rays used by physicians and dentists, and gamma rays used for nuclear power plants. Energy moves through space on waves. Each type of energy has its own wavelength. The distance between successive peaks of electromagnetic waves. A waveform is the measurement of the distance between two wavelengths. Some wavelengths are long and some are short. Long wavelengths have low frequency, meaning the waves pass a point less frequently within a given length of time. Short wavelengths have a higher frequency because the waves pass more frequently within a given length of time. These differences are compared in figure 8.14 and table 8.3. When light passes through the glass prism, it produces the 7 colors of the rainbow, arrayed in the following manner: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Within the visible spectrum of light, violet has the shortest wavelength and red has the longest. In the field of barbering, however, we are more concerned with the invisible rays found at the two ends of the visible spectrum: infrared rays, which produce heat, and ultraviolet rays, which produce chemical and germicidal reactions. The visible spectrum of light is part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Visible light makes up only 35% of natural sunlight. Within the visible spectrum of light, violet is at one end of the spectrum and red is at the other end. Invisible light. Invisible light is the light at either end of the visible spectrum of light. Ultraviolet waves and infrared rays are forms of electromagnetic energy that are invisible to the human eye because their wavelengths are beyond the visible spectrum of light. Invisible rays can make up 65% of natural sunlight at the Earth's surface. Ultraviolet light, also known as cold light or actinic light, makes up 5% of natural sunlight. It has a short wavelength and is less penetrating than visible light. Ultraviolet UV rays can kill microorganisms and cause chemical reactions to happen more quickly than visible light, while producing less heat. The 3 types of UV light are UVA rays that are closest to the visible spectrum and are the longest of all the UV rays. These rays are used in tanning booths and penetrate deeply into skin tissue. Overexposure can destroy the elasticity of the skin, causing premature aging, wrinkling, and skin cancer. UVB rays are in the middle of the UV range, which produce some effects from both ends of ultraviolet rays. Long exposure to UVB rays will burn the skin and, like UVA rays, can cause skin cancer. UVC rays are absorbed by the Earth's atmosphere and ozone layer and do not reach the surface. However, UVC rays, light rays, are used in ultraviolet germicidal irradiation and to inactivate or destroy microorganisms. Infrared light has a longer wavelength when compared to visible light and penetrates more deeply into the body. It produces more heat than the invisible light, and makes up 60% of natural sunlight. Infrared lamps are often used in the barbershop during hair conditioning treatments to aid product penetration or to accelerate the hair color processing. They are also used in spas to soothe nerves, warm muscles, and to relieve pain, increase blood circulations, and increase sweat and oil gland production. Light therapy, also known as phototherapy, is the application of specific wavelengths of the light spectrum up to the skin for the treatment of specific disorders or conditions. In the beauty industry, light therapy treatments may be accomplished through the use of low-level light therapy or low-level laser therapy, laser light emitting diodes, and therapeutic lamps. There are many light therapy devices, and each one is designed to create specific effects. This is important to know because light changes into electrochemical energy, which creates biochemical reactions in the cells. Therefore, different light rays will produce different effects, such as heat, chemical reactions, or germicidal effects in the human body. The most important points to remember are that the equipment to be used is based on the skin type and the condition to be treated, and that you will need thorough training in the use of this device. Depending on the licensing regulations in your state, light therapy may be used to treat a range of skin conditions, from mild eruptions to wrinkles, to treat androgenic alopecia, or to remove unwanted hair. Review the following therapies that you may want to make available to your clients. Lasers are a type of medical device that uses electromagnetic radiation and medium for hair removal for various skin treatments. Lasers work by selective thermolysis, a process that turns the light from a device into heat. Lasers are designed to deliver an intense light beam to a specific depth and to a specific target area without damaging the surrounding tissues. When used in a hair removal treatment, the light is converted into heat that is absorbed by the melanin in the follicles, which leads to follicle damage and inhibition of the hair growth. Because most lasers are classified as level 2 medical devices or above, an esthetician licensed and supervision by a qualified physician may be required to operate the laser. Light emitting diode is a medical device used to reduce acne, increase skin circulation, and improve collagen content in the skin. The LED works by releasing different colors of light onto the skin to stimulate specific responses at precise depths of the skin tissue. When the colored light reaches the specific depth in the tissue, it triggers a reaction such as stimulating circulation or reducing bacteria. LED treatments should not be performed on anyone who has light sensitivities, as phototoxic reactions is taking antibiotics, as has cancer or epilepsy, is pregnant, or is under a physician's care. Always be certain that your license and state regulations permit the performance of LED treatments. Depending on the type of equipment used, LEDs use blue, red, yellow, or green light to achieve the following effects. Blue light reduces acne and bacteria. Red light increases circulation, improves collagen and elastin production in the skin, and stimulates wound healing. Yellow light reduces swelling and inflammation, improves lymphatic flow, and detoxifies and increases circulation. Green light reduces hyperpigmentation and redness, calms and soothes. Therapeutic lamps. In the barbershop, therapeutic lamps may be more practical solution for delivering light therapies associated with scalp, skin, and skin treatments. The lamp usually consists of a dome-shaped reflector mounted on a pedestal with a flexible neck, although several models are available and bulbs come in various colors for different purposes. When using therapeutic lamps, the client's eyes must be protected and should be covered with moistened cotton pads or goggles. A general guide for using therapeutic bulbs follows. White light relieves pain, relaxes muscles, and produces chemical and germicidal effects. Blue light produces little heat, has a tonic effect on bare skin and soothing effect on nerves, and is used only on clean, dry skin. Red light produces heat rays, creates a stimulating effect, and aids the penetrations of creams into the skin. Ultraviolet light can be used to treat acne, tinea, seborrhea, and dandruff conditions, and is applied at a distance of 30 to 36 inches from the skin. Following are the guidelines for using ultraviolet light. The skin areas to be treated should be clean and dry. Average exposures can produce skin redness, overdoses will cause blistering. To begin with, a short exposure time of 2 to 3 minutes should be used, with the exposure gradually increasing over a period of days up to 7 to 8 minutes. Infrared light produces heat but does not produce light. Therapeutic lamps using infrared light have only a rosy glow when active and should be applied at an average distance of 30 inches from the skin. Skin product ingredients should be checked with contradictions before use. The light path should be frequently broken by slowly waving your hand through the path during the service to maintain the client's comfort level. Exposure time should not exceed 5 minutes. Electrotherapy and light therapy treatments are special client services that new and well as established barbers should consider offering. When the service discussed in this chapter are performed professionally and marketed effectively, the barbershop will benefit from increased revenue, client retention, and new client referrals. So, that concludes chapter 8.